What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Victory Life Legacy Podcast Series. I'm your host, owner, and founder, Dwight Vick. Today, I'm joined by a special group close to my heart, a coach I have an immense amount of respect for, and some players I'm kind of familiar with. I've known for quite some time. I'm here with the Patriot Pioneers, head coach Sherman Rivers. How you doing, Coach?
Good, man. Glad to have us. Appreciate you having us on here. Always good to be on with the fellas for sure.
Yeah, man. So as I've told you, and a series of basketball previews are going to be airing this coming week as the season is upon us. So you are joined by a lot of coaches and groups I've interviewed in the DMV area, including some college players. So this is going to be a very good episode. After I get you guys on, I'm going to have Potomac boys on, your old stomping grounds on as well. So we're going to jump into it. Before I get to running my mouth asking questions, Abe, I'll start with you and everyone else can follow. Tell everybody who you are, name, and what position you play.
Okay, I'm Abe. I'm a senior and I play shooting guard.
All right. Dezmond?
I'm Dezmond. I'm a senior and I play point guard.
Point guard. All right. Tey?
My name is Tey Barbour. I play 2 or 3 in class 2024.
Okay. And Kai?
My name is Mekhi Dillard, and I'm a forward.
Okay.
My name is Isaiah Vick, and I'm a forward.
All right. Sherman, as you know, we're jumping on you with Stop. You're getting a lot of interviews, man. You've been doing this a long time, even going back to your days as a player. This is a time of year where everybody's getting going. A few teams have already kind of gotten going early already, but this is the week where everybody, boys and girls, are going this week. You got a big showdown with Woodside on Saturday in the Princess Anne tip-off, Division V state champions. How have you gotten your team ready between Capital Hoops, VHSL Live, and Fall League? How have you gotten your group ready?
Well, it's kind of business as usual for us. Our guys really dedicate themselves in the off season to becoming stronger and in better shape and better basketball players. We've been conditioning, early in the mornings at 7 a.m. in the summer, in the weight room with our strength and conditioning coach. Coach Chris Pellegrino does an excellent job helping these guys get their bodies right. We've been in the gym. Guys been getting shots up when they can and working themselves and competing. So, we've been doing a lot to try to get ourselves prepared for what's coming. We know that we got a target that is on our back, chest, however you want to say it. But when you've been successful like we have over the last some odd years and you got a lot of very talented players and you have a coach that has a tendency to talk trash when he probably shouldn't, you put yourself in a situation where everybody's going to give you the best effort that they can and try to beat you or humble you, as they like to say. Our guys do an excellent job of walking the walk for my talk. And the reason why I talk the way I do about them and about us and the confidence I have in our group is because I watch the work they put in every day. I see how they compete. I know how much they want to be great at what they're doing. So it's easy for me to say things I said. If we were going to be bad, I would tell y'all we're not going to be very good. But when we're going to be good, I don't know why everybody has a problem with me saying we're going to be very good. So it is what it is.
No doubt. And when you talk about that, one thing I've seen with your program being around it the last 5 years and other programs like the Hayfields and now South Lakes, a lot of programs in the DMV, especially in Northern Virginia, are scheduling some serious challenging out-of-conference games. Coach Mack of Forest Park, I interviewed him and his squad at the Prince William County Media Day, Sports and Entertainment, and they talked about playing you guys. You're going to their place, and then they're also hosting South Lakes. The method behind your scheduling, you've always made it known you're not going to duck any rec. Last year you guys played Largo, featured one of the better players, arguably the best player in the DMV, in Cam Ward. You guys won that game in overtime. It was a great showcase for your squad on NBC. A lot of people saw that. What is the method, though, behind your scheduling? What goes into that?
It's so funny because I remember used to think that, why don't these teams play each other when they have opportunities? And I'm not going to call any other teams out to say who wouldn't play or is going to play. But, when you watch college basketball, you see these big time matchups to start the season. that first of all is great for the fans. Second of all, it's great to gauge you as a potential, team that could go all the way or get to the end of the season. So you want to be able to gauge that against teams that are also being spoken that sort of manner. So it was really important for me and for us and our program to schedule those type of games. So not only does it challenge us, but it also makes it so the casual fans might get some more excitement about high school basketball. Me and you talk about this all the time and how things were when we were younger and how games used to be packed and everybody used to be super excited about it. Well, those things kind of went away, and they went away because a lot of coaches and teams started to shy away from the matchups that people wanted to see because they were more worried about, if they were going to win or their record or whatever else may be. And I was just literally on the phone talking to Inside Noah about this because he kind of asked me the same question. It's important for us to play those games because if we're going to talk championship talk, we need to play against championship level competition. And that's no slight against all the teams in our district, but all the teams in our district aren't going to be championship level caliber competition. And it just is what it is. That's can go for what you say in the county. So, and I also want our guys to be able to travel to see different referees in different areas of the state and in the area so they can get used to the way the games are going to be called in different situations. We talk about our game to open up the season. We're going to be in an environment that is going to be very hostile to us. The referees are not going to make calls that are going to be favorable for us. So we're going to have to go on the road and play a very good basketball game and to be able to come out with a win. And it's not the end of the world if we don't. As we saw last year, we started the season with Hayfield, who was one of the best teams probably to play in the state of Virginia in the last 25 to 30 years. And we went down to the buzzer of that game, and they won that game with a tough game. And that told me where we were. And it also told me the stuff that we need to get better at to be able to make sure we played them again at the end of the season, which ended up working out that way. And, I would have liked for both of those games to finish differently. But at the end of the day, it was a very enjoyable environment, I think, for everybody else to be able to see that, to be able to enjoy that. And obviously, it's good for our guys to get the exposure that comes with that. And obviously the competition that comes with that as well.
No doubt. All right, let's talk to some of the players, man. Mekhi, I'll start with you. You fresh off the football field, you guys had a tough loss to Battlefield in the playoffs, but you also are a varsity guy in basketball into your final season. You, by many accounts, are one of those 50-50 glue guys. You have a very versatile role where you're able to guard the perimeter, but also you can guard big guys down low, and you don't shy away from that. I personally feel like you are one of the most important players on this Patriot team because of your versatility. We talked a little bit about this at Media Day, but elaborate a little bit more on your role for Patriot.
So I really just want to be the best version of myself, no matter what it is. If I have to guard the best player for the opposite team, literally, I just want to lead the team in the best possible way. So, like I said, if it's getting us 50-50 balls, guarding the best player on the opposite team, taking charges, making the right play every time, then that's what I'll do.
Yeah, and when you do that, when you talk about taking charges and getting those 50-50 balls and rebounding, is that something Coach Sherman and Teron and Coach Devon, is that something that is the Patriot way, or is that something that you've always done going back to your days in middle school and AAU?
I think I learned it more so when I was younger, but really emphasizing when I got to the Patriots that if we need that, then somebody's going to have to do it. So I just took it upon myself to make sure that gets done.
Got you. And Abe, I've known and followed you a long time since your days in middle school and AAU. You step into a different role where last year you would come off the bench and get buckets, and you and Brady and those guys would come in to reinforce what Nasir and those guys did. Many people talk about guard play, and Patriot has a rich tradition in guards, not just scoring, but defending. You and I were talking before we went live with this, and I remember I asked you to clarify. I said you scored 44 in the game. You said, well, actually, it was 45. You have been a very good scorer throughout your career. But in order for Patriot to win the state championship and achieve their team goals, what does Abe have to do to help Patriot do that?
I think I just gotta do other things besides scoring, like getting rebounds, playing better defense, being more of a leader and helping my team. There's other aspects besides scoring in the game. So I think I just gotta do that better instead of scoring because we already have enough scorers like Tey and Dez. We're not always gonna need scores to win. I think we need defense and other things to win the game too.
Absolutely. Coach Sherman, you lost uh, a really, really great senior group. And that's kind of been the theme going back to since this run really started. I mean, every year, I mean, even during the season, I would sit in the stands and I hear people like, man, what are they going to do to replace Jay Randall? I mean, Jay Randall, let's make it clear, is one of the best athletes, in Patriot high school history, football or basketball. That guy's gifted. Won states and was it triple jump? I'm not a track guy, but
High
there was
jump.
that high jump, excuse me. And there was that play last year where he literally made a play on both ends, got up sprinting on the other end, and you had Caden who had a crazy. How many steals did he have last year?
100.
100 plus steals, okay? And then Nasir, who is a two-time All-Metro guard, and he was a two-time All-State guard. You just don't sneeze at that and say, okay, well, we're good. You lose 3 seniors, but yet you have a senior-rich class. Even we don't have on the show today, including guys like Ryan Keenan and Trey Penix. How do you kind of move those chess pieces with you and Devon and Teron and your dad, your coaching staff to get these guys? Because every year, they lost this, and you get these guys to kind of take on new roles and expand their game. How does that happen?
Like I said, it's a testament to them. The players, and first and foremost, they work. They really work, and they understand that every day is a competition. Every day, you're going to be going against another person that, if they were at another school, would probably start and be an all-district sort of guy. Sometimes when I say that, and I know people feel a certain way about it, but there have been kids that have left our school the last couple of years and gone on to the school that they're at in our district and have been all district or have helped their teams advance pretty deep in the playoffs. So, it's just one of those things that it's great to have great players, but this isn't where we're going to be able to be passing out lifetime contracts. Like, they're going to graduate at some point. So, it's before these guys were in the shoes that they're in, they were, Isaiah and Dezmond were on the team as 9th graders, and they're sitting there looking at guys like Trey Nelson and Chad Watson and Daryl Johnson. 2 of those guys right now are playing on the same college team, and Daryl Johnson and Trey Nelson playing at Mount Olive. Matter of fact, they're on TV right now. I think they're on ESPN Plus playing against High Point. So, and before those guys, you had Zach Blue and those sorts of players like that. Before that, we had Devin Parrish and Hagan Van Diver and Ja'Kai Moore, who was a starting lineman at South Carolina. Devin won a national championship at CNU last year. So, like I said, we're talking, and this even before that, before everybody became the popular pick for everybody, we had Ike Onwuka, who is the best athlete to ever graduate from Patriot High School. No slight at Jay, but Ike scored 35 touchdowns his senior year and was district player of the year in football and basketball. Was first team All-State in both of them. So,
Good Lord.
Yeah, he was unreal. So that class had 8 guys in their senior class, and the next year I was like, man, that was the one year they're going to go get back to normal. Then we end up going to states for the first year. Then Devin and Hagen's class graduates, and that was a big class. And Yusuf Solly transfers and goes to private school, and everybody's like, well, what are they going to do now? Well, then you have Zach Blue, who becomes a first-team All-State kid and who was a defensive player of the year at his college and his conference last year at Mary Washington. And then, like you said, after that, you have Trey Nelson and Chad, who took over for that group. And then after that, you have Nick Marrero and Mike Ackerman. And then, like you said, Nasir kind of stepped into that and became the guy for them. And every year there's got to be guys that replace guys that were highly productive. Caden Bates was a guy that as a junior didn't play because Courtney Davis played a whole lot in that position in his senior year. Everybody's thinking, like, why didn't you play that guy last year? Because he became one of the best guards in the area, possibly the state, especially defensively. So, it's just being ready for your opportunity whenever it presents itself. It could be as a sophomore, junior, or a senior, not pouting in the situation when you don't get as many opportunities as you think, because the guys that are playing ahead of you are probably really, really good and very talented, which you talked about Nasir Coleman being what he is. And everybody, hindsight was great, but as a freshman, as a sophomore, he was playing maybe 8 to 10 minutes a game, and less than that at times because he'd make me angry. So, and then as a junior, as a senior, he became one of the best guards in the state for sure. And I'm sure in his mind, he probably thought he could have did it the whole time, but it just was one of those things that that's the way that it happened. So, you talked about Abe a little bit and the stuff he was able to do for his last year. In the first game to open the season, he comes out and gets 14 points on the road when the opportunity presents itself because Dezmond fouls out. So everybody can play. Everybody's really talented. We're talking about seniors right now, but we got a bunch of kids that are juniors and sophomores that are extremely talented that are going to have games throughout the season that you like, man, when does it stop? But, us as coaches, we try to look as far out as we can, 3 to 4 years, think about what kids will be, what we can help them be as they develop into the basketball players that they want to be. And hopefully by the time they get their opportunity, they're highly productive in that. So,
no doubt. Yeah, and going back to the players, Tey Barbour, you transfer over from Osborne where you had a great career, 1,000-point scorer. You played for one of my close friends, Rocky Carter, who I have an immense amount of respect for. You come over to live with your father, and you joined a very good Patriot team that you competed against in the previous 3 seasons. How has that adjustment been? And what do you plan to show people in that adjustment as far as on the court?
I feel like the adjustment wasn't too much. I feel like, playing with and knowing most of these guys for a long time, that the adjustment wasn't too much of a big thing. And I'm looking forward to season. So, just going out there and competing at the highest level with these guys and hoping to win a state championship.
Absolutely. I've known you pretty much your whole life. I've coached you. I've seen you grow as a player on and off the court. You come from humble beginnings with great parents and great support system. But the one thing I feel like people say about you that I'm curious to see how you respond and say, oh, yeah, Tey Barbour, he's one of the best shooters in the DMV. He's one of the top guards in the state. But are you more than a shooter? I mean, what do you offer? Because I'm not trying to get a scouting report away because I know people are going to see this, but what do you offer besides shooting that people should know about your game?
I feel like I can do anything on the court that needs to be done. I can go out there. I feel like I can get you 10+ rebounds games that's needed. I can handle the ball. I feel like I can run the point if that's needed. And also, I feel like a lot of people overlook my defense, but like if needed, I can really lock in and strap up.
No doubt. Isaiah, when you talk about this being your last year, you take a lot of pride in being at Patriot. You love being there. You're a 4-year varsity guy. What type of expectations do you have for yourself this season? Because a lot of people talk about the fact that every year you've been at Patriot, your game has grown. Coach Sherman made it known on Julian's podcast, Nova Legends podcast, that in many big games you guys had, often you've been the best player on the court. You love big games, but when it comes to this season, this is a big year. So how do you plan to attack that?
I kind of want to be more consistent this year than I was last year because, like you said, I had like big games in the against Largo, against Battlefield, like in the big environments. But I kind of want to show people that I can get it done every day, every game, like every time we step on the floor.
Yeah. One thing I heard about, not that Sherman Rivers allows any parents at practices because he'll never do that, but there was a lot of talk at Princeton County Media Day between you and Kai and Dez and Tey about this inter-squad scrimmages you guys were doing, and it was tied at 2, and your team versus Well, talk a little bit about how that was, because competition is everything at Patriot, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, your team came out on top against Tey, Dezmond, and Kai. How'd that come about, and what was that like?
Yeah, my team won. Abe was on my team too, but he was injured.
My fault, Abe.
No, but he was injured, so he didn't play. So he got done without him too. And I was hurt for like half, and I came back. But yeah, we compete every practice, and like it's fun. Like going out there like against your boys, competing hard. Like we're not friends like when we playing basketball. So yeah, we got the job done.
I feel like, and Tey, you can take your mute off because it's for both you and Isaiah. You guys go back. People don't realize you've been on AAU teams for me, and then you guys left and had a few years with DC Premier. You guys go back to the days of Manassas Park, Biddy Ball, since you guys were in the 6, 7 years old, have been competing against each other, man. When you guys get matched up in practice, or even when you were at Osborne, Tey, and Isaiah at Patriot, do you feel like you guys, Tey, you can go first with this. Do you feel like you guys bring the best out of each other?
Yeah, I feel like it's great competition between me and him. Like, us knowing each other for so long and always seeing each other, like, he knows a lot of my moves. I know a lot of his moves. So then you got to always, go deep in your bag of tricks to try to get past him. And, Isaiah's just a great competitor, and we bring the best out of each other, definitely.
What about you, Isaiah? You share the same sentiments? You agree?
Yeah, sometimes I get tired of guarding him. It's like because I see him so much throughout the whole year, like with AAU and then now with high school. So like, yeah, sometimes I'm just tired of guarding him. But yeah, like you said, like it's like you gotta do our best to get past each other, bring out the best out of
Yeah,
each other.
You got
yeah,
to
no,
think, man. Iron sharpens iron. So these guys, we talk about the competition aspect of it. You see Dezmond's face through some of this, and it's funny. I just think about this because you brought it up. I was trying to make a point to another player on our team about not being too far away from Tey because he's arguably a best shooter and best scorer. And Dezmond gave me the worst side eye I think I've ever seen because in his mind. And then I'm sure I wasn't looking where Abe was at, but I'm sure he was sitting on the other side like, man, you stop talking crazy like that. But I love that they are hyper competitive like this, that they're always trying to outdo each other, but trying to do that in the confines of what we're trying to do as a whole. So I'm okay with it. It is something that is great to see. The way they get at each other, the way they talk trash to each other. I wouldn't have it any other way because I know that's how I am and that's what I want around me. So
I love that. Yeah, Dezmond. This summer you took some huge steps growing as a guard. I mean, it's crazy to see the fact that your sophomore and junior year, many times you led the team in scoring. Your sophomore year, you came off the bench and you were an instant bucket. But this year, Sherman challenged you to play point guard because getting buckets is not hard for you. You can shoot, you can drive. You're a physical guard. But talk about what you learned a little bit about playing point guard this summer in the Capital Hoops Summer League and also the Fall League.
It's hard. I still got to get used to, being a point guard and being a leader. And yeah, I still got some getting used to doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is hard. Do you feel like though this season, with your ability to learn the position from Sherman Rivers, a great point guard when he played in his own right, do you feel like being that you can shoot and drive and also score, that will help you as a point guard? Because then it'll be like, what do you defend? You think that'll be an asset to you?
Yeah, I think it will. And I can get my team open and all that.
Gotcha. So one last question on that. We talked about scoring. You can't play for Patriot if you don't play defense. So are you able to guard? Because I know Sherman gets on y'all all the time. I can hear him in the hallway when I'm parking and walking in about defending. Are you also adding that to your bag, the defense?
Yeah, I am.
Sherman, that's something that people don't realize is because, especially this year, I mean, you're talking about Abe, Isaiah, Tey, Dezmond, and you also got youngins like Mike and, some other players that can score. I mean, Patriot, even little Kai Wilcox. I mean, he last year against Battlefield in that deciding game at Gainesville High School, Isaiah had 12 and he had 11 in that game. I mean, he was shooting off the bench and he can shoot deep. How do you get guys to buy in on defense? Because every time I interviewed a lot of guys in this basketball series I'm doing for Vicktory Life, and everybody's talking about getting buckets and, we do this, but in order to do and meet the expectations you guys have, you're talking about a program that in the last 2 years, let me make sure I get this right. Last year, 27-4. The year before that, 26-1. If you do the math, and the math is math, and that's a lot of games won. But is it one more on scoring? Is it more and more on defense?
It's our games are more one on the defensive end, I want to say, especially last year. I thought that we were phenomenal defensively, especially down the stretch. Just in the state tournament and the regional tournament, we were probably only giving up about 40 points a game, which is unheard of. But, the biggest thing is like we talk about these guys and how offensively talented they are. I know we talked about Kai being a glue guy and the 50-50s and all the other type of stuff, but he is a very gifted passer. He is able to finish with both hands around the rim. Obviously, Abe, we know how gifted he is as a scorer, scoring 40 in a middle school game. I mean, you guys got to really think about that. What are they, 6-minute quarters? But really think about the math of that. So scoring 40 in a middle school game. I saw Dezmond play a middle school game, and he got 25 like he just rolled out of bed and did it easily. We've clearly heard the stories of Tey, and we've seen it up close when we were playing against him and how he's able to score the basketball. Isaiah's had many a 20-point game where he's got it going and got busy. But the biggest issue is that there's one ball. So we got to really play hard on the defensive end and try to cause more possessions for us. That way it gives us more opportunity to share it and score it. We want to play fast. We want to get up and down, but that doesn't mean that we're doing it at the expense of how we're guarding guys, because at the end of the day, in the playoffs, you got to be able to get stops in the half court to win. All that pressing and all that pretty stuff sounds great until you play against other teams that can deal with it because they're equally as talented as you are. So being able to sit down and guard, talk, rotate, take charges, rebound the basketball, protect the rim is something that's extremely important to us. It's something we stress every single day.
Yeah. Back to you, Tey. I got a question for you. I've been dying to ask you this, man. You were at Osborne, and unfortunately there were a few seasons you guys didn't finish the way you did, but you played with really two great players in Trey Terrell and Tavion Faison. Now you join Patriot with other dynamic players, but at Patriot, it's a different reaction when you walk in the gym. You got the battlefield rivalry. You got other games, the South Lakes where the crowds are going to be great. Woodside is going to be off the hook because you're going into the heart of 757 where I'm from, and it's going to be intense. There's a lot of build up to this game, especially what happened in the fall VHSL Live. What are you looking forward to? Are you ready for the chants, the taunts, the boos, the intense crowd? I mean, because that's more so a mental game. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Like, no shot to what was going on at Osborne, but I'm excited to play in like meaningful games in my last year. And it gets a little bit tiring being the hunter and always chasing. I'm excited to be the hunted and have people come after me.
Yeah. And Isaiah, you talk about enjoying, playing big games since you were little, and Coach Rivers talked about how you step up immensely in big games. You enjoy the taunts and the boos. You want people to clap. You want the trash talk. Where does that come from? Does that just get you going, or is it just something because it's meaningful? Like, what's your mindset with that?
I don't know. I love I just love the nature. Like I just love the environment when everybody's like talking. I feel like they're more of my fans, like them like talking to me. That's like them being my fans. So I don't know. I just like the environments of like those type of games.
Yeah. There's a rumor going on that, when you guys got the Patriot, that enhanced. I don't know. There's a coach that you play for that kind of got that in y'all blood, y'all DNA. Because, I just noticed that since you guys are Patriot, you just love it. You've always been a big game player, but it just seems like, I don't know, Coach Sherman Rivers has kind of increased that mindset. But with that being said, Abe, to you again, I mean, you had, as Coach Rivers reminded us, you had that game when you came off the bench and you played real well. You and Caden surprised some people because it was more about Nasir and Dezmond, but you and Caden were hot. I believe Caden had 19. And you talk about other games. In the playoff game, you came off the bench and hit threes. Are there games you're looking forward to, or is it just the entire season where you're going to showcase your talents?
I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to the entire season, but since like the football season, I've been excited for Battlefield. Really pumped. I liked walking into the gym and just hearing street boos. It really gets me excited and just excited for that big game.
I noticed you didn't mention Gainesville. Gainesville is, 3 years old. I know you guys are familiar with some of their players. So they're still not there yet as far as they're your rival.
I mean, I just don't think it's as big as Battlefield. I think more people just show up for a Battlefield game or over a Gainesville game, but I think Gainesville it's gonna be a good game too, but not as big as Battlefield.
Got you. One thing I'll say, Abe, and I joke about this when I watch your games and I rewatch games. I've been doing this since I was in middle school. You have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You got, for real. Let's talk about it. You got a little attitude. I'm not trying to put you in my Victory Life anger management classes, but I seen you're feisty. Like everyone talks about Dezmond because he looks strong in his uniform and he's about that life. But Abe, you got a little chip on your shoulder. What's that? Where's that come from? Does that come from your dad or your mom? Because I've known you for a long time.
I think it just comes from my mom. You know, she's just always feisty and everything. So I think it just comes from her. And like,
Really?
yeah, yeah. And when people like talk trash, it just gets me more hyped up and more angry. So I try to use that positively to my game.
Okay. All right. And Kai, what people don't realize, Sherm talked about how you could finish, and you and Isaiah played together one year in Gainesville. Y'all had one of the deepest teams. Y'all lost to Darren Harris and them in the semifinals. But one thing I remember about you had the Mohawk and you had great post moves. There was a lot of talk about when you were coming to Patriot, you can score. Will we be able to see some of that scoring this year? I know you have a lot of players on this show right now that can fill it up, but will there be a game where you will look to score and look for your offense and not pass up shots just to get other guys involved? I know you can't project the future, but is that something you're going to be comfortable with doing?
Yeah, for sure. I think I just want to be more aggressive this year, more than the past years. Everybody leaving like Jay, Kata, and Oz. I know we got great scorers now, but an opportunity presented itself for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. Sherman, I asked a lot of coaches this question, this series that we're doing. We had Battlefield on there, Coach Bills, and we had Hampton High, Eric Brown, the team you're going to face. You played last year. They're a Division IV state title contender. You play a lot of state championship contenders this year. No one knows how the season's going to go. You put in a lot of work. You guys make a lot of sacrifices. But when people watch Patriot basketball this year, every year is different. The 26-1 team, the team that lost to South County in the quarterfinals, every team is different. Your identity will take shape, as you know, but should we expect as observers, people in the media, fans, haters? What should we expect when we see Patriot take the court this weekend coming up against Woodside?
I mean, we're going to compete. I know that sounds cliche to say it, but our guys really get after it. They really, and you can see just listening to some of their answers, they really enjoy the competition. They enjoy the people rooting against them. They enjoy obviously enjoy the fans that root for you. They enjoy just the whole aspect of competing. And so when you have a group that enjoys it, doesn't shy away from it, it makes it really easy to coach because you don't have to worry about if they're going to be ready to play in a game. The biggest thing is we got to make sure that we understand the journey. It's a process, and that we have to, take the steps to get to where we want to be and not look past anything. So, like I said, if you're going to come watch us play, you're going to see a team that's going to play really hard. They're going to look like they're having a whole lot of fun while they're doing it. And we're probably going to talk a little to you while it's going on. So that's not going to sit well with you. But if you don't like it, then stop us from doing it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And real quick, before I let you guys jump off, man, you guys, I mentioned last year that big game with Largo that was on NBC. You guys kicked it off and was arguably the best game of the day, which featured some of the top public and private schools in the DMV. This year, you guys have Hayfield, and you guys are doing a very rare thing. You're getting Capital Hoops to come to Northern Virginia to broadcast that game live, which says a lot about Northern Virginia public schools right now and how it's growing. And that's a credit to you and Woodson and Wakefield and Hayfield. Shout out to Carlos. Besides that game, what are other games you have on your schedule that people should definitely check for? Obviously, there's no givens with district play. You got to take every game seriously, but just really quickly highlight some of the other games you guys got going on, which feature some great teams and great competition.
Also, we talked about Woodside Open. I'm not sure how good Stonebridge is going to be, but that's another non-conference game that'll be the following weekend. The next weekend after that is the Grace Brethren game. It's a very talented private school. I think they just had a kid commit D1. I can't remember who it was to. Did y'all see that? I don't know if y'all, where did he commit to, Zay?
I don't know, but I saw it.
Okay, so they got some talented kids on that team. A couple days after that, we'll have South Lakes coming in who, some polls pick them above us, some might pick us above them. And the ones that pick them above us, that'll be a nice little motivating factor for us. So that'll be another one. We talked about Hampton. It'll be December 30th. We'll be playing Hayfield, obviously, in that game in the Capital Hoops Showcase, which, like I said, shout out to Los, man. We talk about coaches scheduling and playing tough games. He's another one that me and him have a lot of conversations about growing Northern Virginia basketball, and that is definitely something that we spoke about as far as us scheduling and us playing each other is I think is good for the sport. Forest Park, who I mentioned, Riverdale Baptist is another one that we'll have. I think that's it as far as like the out of district games go. But obviously we'll have some games in district. We got the Purple guys. That'll always a good rivalry game. I know you mentioned Gainesville down the street, which won't be a rivalry until they win one, but that'll be something that people get excited about. And then the rest of our district, they're going to be gunning for us because we've won it for the last 6 years and they don't like it. So competition-wise, we invite that. We hope that they give us something to fight for and to battle with, and we'll be better for it. So,
no doubt, man. And you definitely, between your Twitter account and the players on your team and all the attention you guys get and everybody you have, you will definitely be circled on everybody's calendar, which is a great thing for the area, for the district, and for our league. Dezmond,
absolutely.
real quick before I let you guys go, Race Brethren is looking forward to you because they said that shot you hit at half court to win the game didn't count. Did it count? Dezmond, did that shot count? Yeah, it counted. Okay. Yeah.
Referee said it counted. It counted.
Yeah. By the way, anybody watching this, when this show's airs, go back. I know there's a lot of live basketball going on, but that arguably was one of the top 5 games in the Capital Hoop Summer Classic. That Grace Brethren game, I couldn't make it, but I was keeping up online, and you guys were competing, and that was, for a summer league game, high intensity. You're talking about high level play, and then you guys do it again this season. That is actually a game I'm really looking forward to.
Absolutely.
So, appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys for jumping on. Enjoy the rest of your day, man, and good luck to everybody this season. Thank you guys, Patriot.
Appreciate it.
Now I'm joined by a great program, a great coach, and a very good player. Potomac Basketball of Dumfries joins us in our Victory Life Legacy Spotlight Series, previewing the VHSL upcoming basketball season, which is going to be another epic season in all classes. Potomac is a program I have a lot of respect for, given what they've done the last 30 years, not just in Northern Virginia, but throughout the state with regionals and district and state titles. So Coach Mills is part of that. And Anthony Mills, Coach, how you doing?
Good, man. How's everything with you?
Oh, I'm good, man. I appreciate you making this work today and jumping on, man. We've had a great run. I can't wait for all these shows to air. And I'm glad you took some time. It's tough getting some of these other kids and coaches on because this time of year, you guys have a lot you're working towards, man. Right. You got the Kyle Honoré tip-off. You got your regular season game scrimmages, making sure teams don't drop out. So I appreciate you for jumping on. Before I get to you and your Q&A portion, TJ, just introduce everybody for everybody watching this, man. Name, position, and what's going on with you?
My name's TJ Bethea. I'm the starting wing at Potomac High School, and this is my senior year.
Yeah, crazy, man. I remember when you were in middle school. It's crazy. It's crazy. I promise you, since COVID, life is going extra fast. So we'll make sure it slows down this year, man. And shout out to your dad, too. Great man. Always love talking to him when I see him. He's on Twitter like me. He gives those updates. I'm like, okay, I see what Potomac's doing every day. I'm like, let me see the score. And he'll just post the score. But Coach Mills, man, you returned home. You're part of that program, man. And, a lot of people know Potomac, especially people that have been living in the DMV for a long time. The expectation for Potomac has always been state championships or bust. And you've been part of that. But just talk about, why you came back and also reflect a little bit on your playing career there.
So I played 2003 to 2005. We were 29-1, lost in the state championship my sophomore year, my junior year, and then we was 27-1. I think we lost in the state quarterfinals there. I think as a starter I was 56-2, I believe. So and I played with the greats Eric Hayes, Jason Flagler, Brian Butler. It was a list of us that played there. We was really deep. We just really just got it in and just held up that tradition of just playing defense and playing for one another. Something that we're working on right now. The return, it was just the right timing. It was I'm sure everybody heard talks. It was either going to be me, myself, or it was going to be Sherman as well.
Yes, it was trending all over social media. I was looking like, hold up.
Yeah, so it was, and I'll be real with you, man. I kept denying it. Everybody was, asking me, and I would get a text as time got closer and closer and closer, and I kept denying it. And I just wanted to make sure that it was right, in the right situation at the right time. And I think I made the right. It happened all at once. Me and Coach talked several times talking about Keith Honore, and he was just like, man, you're the right guy for this job. So the return was lovely, man. I got emotional in the interview, just being back. These guys know how much I love and how much Potomac means to me. So it was just the right timing, the right place. And I tell you, man, it's nothing like home. And to be able to be one of the guys who, set the bench, started, played, got the good minutes, to now at this point to where now I'm standing and calling all the shots. And not just me, man, but I have a phenomenal staff as well that made everything very smooth with the return.
Who is the staff? Name him real quick. Who you got on
my
staff?
brother. I got my brother Adrian Mills, Coach Blackshear, Chad Anderson, Coach Sanders, who's been there. Who am I missing? Coach Lindsay, who's been with me since I started coaching AAU. And then we have two alumni, Chuck, Coach Hyman's, and then Coach Tey.
That's what's
so we're pretty deep.
Shout out to your staff, man. It's hard work. You guys do a lot of work. People think these guys in VHSL are making bank. You practically volunteers, man. I do a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Who'd you guys lose to when you played in the state championship? What team was that?
In the state championship, we lost to Woodside. We lost to Woodside.
It was tough for them, wasn't it?
Yep, up 14 at the half. I remember like it was yesterday.
Y'all were up 14?
We were up 14 points at the half. Yep.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know that. I remember when Woodside won it. I had just moved up into Northern Virginia. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. So I remember I kept track of that, but I didn't go to the game. I just remember Woodside won. I didn't even know y'all were up. That's crazy.
Yeah, we were up, man. That was our that's our only loss. That especially being up like that at the half.
Sherman told me y'all were undefeated all year.
All year, yep, year. We just had a tough one the day before, I think it was like the week or a couple of days before versus George Wythe.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so, it's crazy that we can go back and remember that, right?
Yeah, that one sticks out every time I walk through the school and recognize why my picture not up there. So
I've been there, done that. I know how it is when I play for Hampton High, man. TJ, man, you are a senior. This is always special, man. It's crazy, man, because, you are a hard worker. You're a versatile player, man. I saw this summer, I follow you and your dad on Twitter, man, and I keep up with stuff on Facebook. You were very busy this summer, man, from visiting schools to also putting in work in the gym, man. Just talk about how your summer's been and what have you guys done as a team to get ready for this upcoming season?
Oh, for me, my summer, this was a great summer for me. I think this was like the one where I finally realized, I can do it for, and actually get it done. So that was the biggest part for me this summer. And as a team, I think we really gelling this year because last year we had a lot of, everybody was really new besides me and one other kid. Everybody else was either first year playing basketball, transfer, or they were just real young. So this summer was really just our time to get everybody to gel together. And I think we did a good job of that this summer. For sure.
No doubt. Now I'm looking behind you. I see some dunks and some J's. You gonna start a room? Is Potomac over there giving out NIL money, or what's the move? What's going on? Because I'm a sneakerhead. I'm in my 40s, and my room looks like that even more, man. I like that. But take a step further, man. Like last year, you guys, I believe y'all lost to Patriot in the regional semifinals, right? And there's been talk that because the standard, and I said this to Carlos Poindexter, who's the head coach at Hayfield. And I said, it's crazy how you can be a prisoner of your own expectations you created. Mm-hmm. So the rumor is streets are talking like Potomac's still good, but it's Forest Park's district now, and Freedom got that backcourt with my guy, Shamar Cisco and Tavares. And it's Potomac should be in the mix, but, you guys aren't being talked about. Does that motivate you and your teammates, especially you being a senior?
Yeah, it definitely motivates me. But it's been like that since my freshman year, because my freshman year we won all the state championship, lost, and then since then everybody said, "Oh, they're not that same team, that this, that, and the third." But I feel like this is definitely our year, and everybody's motivated. Like the little Nova 19 thing that just came out, everybody was all looking at it. It was crazy. It's like
I saw it.
it is what it is though. It ain't gonna make nothing but a good.
It's so funny. Let me speak. I do podcasting and I pay attention to that stuff, but it's so funny how with Facebook and Twitter and even IG, Instagram, how rankings can get people from youth league all the way up to it is crazy to me because it's just a preseason. Not that I wouldn't be motivated either. I'm grown, so I don't play no more. I'd be motivated too, full disclosure. But at the same time, it's like, oh man, okay, bet. All right, bet like that Cam Newton me. All right, bet. Here we go. Coach, you're on stuff, but you're more low key, but you see it too, man. I always feel like motivation is one of those things you can cultivate to your advantage or can also be a detriment. You got to be careful.
Right.
How do you manage your team's expectations and keep them locked in with now compared to when you and I played? So many outside external factors with social media, trainers, parents who are a little bit delusional or obsessive. How do you and your staff keep everybody locked in and focused?
I think for us, man, it started right after, right after we lost to Patriot. We went back to work right after spring break,
Really?
and I told them what it is. I said, we have to gel. We have to be a better team. We got to not just like each other. We got to love each other, and we got to fall in love with the game of basketball. So we went right back to work right after spring break. And like Terrence mentioned, the biggest thing with us was just building that chemistry and understanding what Potomac basketball is about. A lot of people don't understand that, and then, when it comes to just the outside world, we try to keep the main thing. Like we're first. Basketball comes first. Obviously, academics is in there, but when we're in the gym, it's 2 hours of hard work and dedication, and you got to put into your craft. And we just been working, man, and that's what we're doing. We work and we stay quiet, and we, like I said, I like I talked to you, I don't really say much, things like that the rankings and stuff that'll come out. We'll send it over to the kids because we want them to be motivated, and fueled off that. And look how many people are looking over top of us and don't think that we're going to do anything. Oh, Potomac basketball is done. Potomac basketball is. It's not what it used to be. Well, it's everybody going to get the opportunity to find out exactly what Potomac is. And we're not hiding from anybody. We're not hiding from anybody, and they know, what the tradition is and still is at Potomac.
Yeah. Highlight some of your players. We know we got TJ on, but some of other your players that we should be on the lookout. I'm not looking for a scouting report, but just some kids in your program on the varsity level who had a really good summer, or some players by mid to season to the end of the season we're gonna know more about. Your guards or the wing guys. Who are some we know about? We should check.
We have Peter Mitchell who's returning. We got to think we had 6 freshmen last year.
Yeah, y'all did.
Every last one of those freshmen has improved, gotten better, gotten stronger. They just worked their tail off. So I'm not going to go through all 6, but we definitely have Kenny the Guzman, Peter Mitchell, 3 returners. We had 2 kids transfer in, one from Oakton, Jay Gowdy, and then we had one come in from Japan, who's about 6'5" and built like a grown wrestler.
Oh, yeah. I saw
everybody just seen that.
I said, man, what? To the double take, I was like, who is that?
Yeah. That's look like
is he adjusting well? He's adjusting well.
Adjusting well, man. It's been a little, kind of the pace of the game. But he's going on well. He's coming along. He's helping us in ways that we need. I mean, that we're going to need help going down the stretch. Those 6 freshmen now that those guys are grown up, that's going to make us a little bit deeper. We're going to be able to play multiple guys, and not have to play Terrence and Kenny and Peter so many minutes, so that they can be fresh for us in the fourth quarter. So we're young and talented, but we got. The senior leadership this year is really, really good because everybody's been around. And we got some guys that, like TJ and Kenny that are, really going to take off, and Peter is really going to take off and really lead this group the way that we're supposed to be led.
Love it, man. Love it. You talk about the teams. I was doing Prince William County Sports and Entertainment Media Day last Saturday, and Forest Park was on there, and Coach Mack has done a great job with that program. They kind of went from the hunter to being the hunted now this season because they stepped in and took the place of where Potomac normally is and winning the district. When you talk about upcoming games this season, you can never, this as a coach and I play, you can never overlook a team. But you can also be honest and highlight and say, okay, we got these 5 teams or this district game. What are some games that you definitely know that, okay, obviously, again, every game's important. I want to stress that. But at the same time, you're like, okay, yeah, this team, we play them on this day. This is going to be tough. What are some of those teams and coaches that you know are going to bring the best out of your team and you as a coach?
I'll say this before I tell you the teams. You got to remember this, and every game for us is like it's a state championship caliber game. If I go back from just thinking about all the games we played, I think every last game we played at home or on the road was packed. Like back in the day when the gym, before the gym was that big. So that's one thing that we had to get across to our guys. Like, you have to come in and give your best effort. You can't take days off. But Forest Park game, obviously, that's going to be circled on the schedule. Freedom game is going to be circled on the schedule because we're losing. We beat Freedom, but it's just that little rival or however they want to break it down between the two schools that are real close. And then, like I said, Forest Park is definitely going to be one because we believe we let 3 close games go that could have went either way, but they have done a phenomenal job of getting Mac has done a phenomenal job of getting that that place to the top of where they're at. The other schools we have, I got 2 schools we're playing out of 3 schools we're playing out of DC, HD Woodson, Ballou, and then it's Bard. I think Bard was a school that won it all down in DC last year. So those 3 games, those 5 games are the ones that I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, all of our district games, man, those are going to be tough. If you haven't seen us
beat up on each other, y'all beat up on each other.
It's going to be tough, and it's not easy. And all those guys, every last coach in the Cardinal District does a phenomenal job with their team and getting those guys ready to play, not just versus us, but versus everybody. But I think the 3 DC schools I look forward to because I always try to go grab some schools from different areas, and I think DC gives you that toughness, that mentality that we want to have. If they're just trying to get it. This is my survival, and that's what we talk about a lot to our guys. Like, man, I'm doing this because I got to get my mom out of this situation, or my dad out of that situation.
Yes.
I don't know their talent, but I know they're going to play hard, and I know it's going to help us prepare for those Forest Parks, the Freedom games, and just every day in our Cardinal District. Because it's a dogfight in the Cardinal District, like it is, for any other school. But I know for a fact, just when it comes to playing that blue and that Carolina blue, and they see that on this game day schedule, they got it all going, and I love it, man.
I do too. I saw it firsthand back in the day when Sherman played, when they upset my alma mater, Ronald Curry, and them were the defending state champions. Sherman, that the other youngin that scored 33, Cliff
Hopkins,
Yeah, and I was like, yo, these dudes look and act just like us. They just up in Northern Virginia. And then I saw it again when TJ and them, and God bless them, Kyle Honorary came over, and they had that legendary game against Patriot where Patriot blocked, my son actually blocked a shot, and Kyle Honorary missed that bunny. And y'all came deep, and they were chanting P.O., T.O., M.A. And the cheerleaders were getting it. And I said, okay, this is Potomac I know. Yeah, y'all are getting everybody's best shot. With that being said, TJ, I mentioned those games, and your freshman year, they lost that tough state championship, Centerville. I remember, even though it was years ago in the 90s, being a senior gives you perspective because you've been around it so long. And I always like to ask this question to my seniors, even guys I run into at the barbershop or at the mall. You talked about what you expect to go in and the work you put in this summer, but talk about what you've learned so far in regards to perspective. You played for the great Coach Keith Honore. who won multiple state champions, and he has that, he believes that Potomac blue. Now you have another guy in Coach Mills who believes that Potomac blue. But just for yourself, the perspective you learned so far, like, okay, I remember this, we have to do this, and I know I've learned this about myself. I have to do this. What is that for you?
Well, first off, I think I learned that definitely playing hard is not an option. You got to play hard. Like, I've had the biggest thing has always been playing hard. Like, no matter if I had 0 points or 15, I got to play hard because, that's the bare minimum. You can't do more. You got to play hard. And then for me, I'd say I had to learn how to lead because I went from being a kid at the end of the bench my freshman year, not doing nothing but sitting there clapping, to 10th grade year. I'm starting. Now I gotta learn how to speak, and all that. Sophomore year, I'm not gonna lie, I probably wasn't the best leader, but I learned and that's where I am now. So yeah.
And I saw a clip of you because I'm always on social media. I saw a clip of you. I'm pretty sure in some type of showcase game. Didn't you catch a body? Didn't you dunk on somebody or something? Was that you?
I don't think I've dunked in a couple showcases. I don't think I dunked on nobody.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, because I see so many people. Everybody shows those good highlights. They don't show those bad highlights. So I didn't know. I do have another question for you, man. Coach Anthony Mills. I've been around him. I've seen him at the VHSL Live. I see him on the sidelines. If I'm not at Potomac, I'm watching him on the app. He gives across this real cool, smooth demeanor. He's laid back. He's laughing. But I want to know the true Coach Mills. How is it in practice? How intense is he? Because again, I'm looking like, yo, this guy, like somebody I definitely want to kick it with and hang out with. But at the same time, it's different when you're a player, man. What is he like, man? Again, last year, now this year, you have one more go around with him. What's his demeanor when it comes to challenging you, coaching you, making you a better person and player?
No, he's definitely a laid back guy when he can be, but there's like any other coach, there's times where they have to turn it on. So like you practice certain things he just expects from you, but if he's not getting out of you, he's gonna let you know that he's not getting it from you. And it may be
go ahead. I'm sorry, go. I cut you off. What'd you say?
I was saying, and it may be yelling sometimes, and sometimes it may be talking, but he's point across.
Yeah. Coach, man, you're part of a special fraternity. I've coached AAU, but I only did it just to kind of get some kids I knew, some exposure. Right. I can coach both football and basketball, but I learned very quickly. In 2008, I was coaching at Parkview High School. I was the O-line and defensive line coach, and I was the assistant head coach. And I remember this was in 2008. I was working at Metz Middle School. And I remember we were getting out of practice, and Coach Andy Hill, who lives in Minnesota now, I was running to my car. I was like, I had a Chevy Trailblazer. I was like, all right, yo, I'll see y'all tomorrow. He said, yo. We got to break down film. We got to do this. We got to do that. It's a very sometimes challenging and tough job. And I've learned from just talking to, in a few times I spoke to you and other coaches I admire and respect, my man Troy Mans at LC Bird, my guy Lauren Johnson at Highland Springs, Sherman at Patriot. You have to have a support. It's a special fraternity. It's a special group. Mm-hmm. Who are some of the coaches you talk to? I know not so much in the season, but, that decompress time. Are there some guys that, you talk to in, group chats or just pick up the phone and say, okay, even if it's an older coach who's retired, is there somebody, you want to shout out or some guys you talk to, even female coaches?
Tony Bentley at Wakefield.
His name comes up so much.
Yeah, he's known me since, I started on the girl side at Battlefield. Mm-hmm. It's obviously Coach Honore. We probably talk maybe 2 to 3 times a week. He even shows up at practice. Who else is it? Mike Harris, South County coach. He's Mike as well as South County. Mm-hmm. I need to make sure because they'll give me a hard time.
I just because you ain't gonna name everybody because there's probably about 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, it's quite a few that I talk to and just bounce ideas off. And even just trying to get drills and what can I do to challenge my guys. What is it that I need to do or something different that, can breaking down film or whatever it may be. I talk to my staff a lot as well. And then my son, shoot, man, my son that's 4 years old. You know, you can sit and talk to him because he ain't gonna say nothing. He gonna say all the right things. So, so I'll sit and have a conversation with him, knowing that he's gonna give me the feedback that I need.
Speaking of that, was so crazy to this day because when you said it, I remembered you instantly. You stopped my wife and I as we were leaving. We were trying to get back to watch y'all game against Woodside in the VHSL Live, but we had to leave. And you reminded us that you were Isaiah Vick, my son's daycare teacher.
Yeah.
Back in the day. TJ, did you know that? You didn't know that, TJ. How could you know that? Which is crazy how God works things out.
Right.
And then next thing you know, you're coaching against him, man. So little nugget for all y'all listening and watching when this show was aired, man. That's crazy, man. And that's when you were kind of coming back to the area, right? And transitioning?
Yeah, that's when I was coming back. Yep, coming back, making that transition from college. And I started working at the daycare. And I was coaching AAU at the time. So I got a job at, the daycare. And I just, to be honest, I just fell in love with just working with kids, man. And that's what got me into teaching. But yeah, Isaiah was small. He wasn't that tall then.
He was little.
Yeah, he was little. And I didn't know. I didn't know that he was going to grow to be that, be the young man that he is, and the height and the way that he's playing. But I remember when he was just yay high, man. Just walking. I heard Vick. So obviously, when you think Vick, you think Michael Vick, and I figured out
my cousin.
Yeah, I figured out all you guys were connected. But I've been meaning to say that to you, but I've never really get the chance. We always just, I'm moving, going one direction, you going the other direction. Yeah. And I just so happened to just stop and just, it popped to my mind. And I said, man, they probably don't even remember this. So
when you said I did, at first I was like, what? Then I'm better with faces than names. I was okay, I do remember now. Yeah. Well, here's the question. What's harder, coaching TJ and them group, that age group, or doing daycare?
Oh, daycare. Shoot. Daycare. That you got to get them to sit down, relax for a second. Then I had to realize I got to get them to take a nap. I said, "Oh man, this right here." I don't think I was good. I love the kids, but the getting, that's like starting all the way over at like 22, 23 years old, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is rough."
Hey, yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. TJ, speaking of Isaiah, man, you're part of that group. Isaiah, we were talking one time when he was much younger, and he said, yo, Dad, I'm telling you, he was like maybe 10 or 9 years old. He said, that 2024 class is going to be special. Yeah. And you look around the DMV, and you talk about yourself. I mentioned him and Tey Barbour and Darren Harris and Isaiah Ford and Dezmond Hopkins and Tey Barbour. All these guys in that 2024 class, right? And I apologize to the kids we didn't name. So many guys, right? When you look at games you look forward to in district play or out of conference play, when you see some of those guys you play AAU with, like Dezmond and Kai, or guys in the Cardinal District, okay, how does it bring a little bit more out of you when you see somebody, some players, or there's some players you look forward to playing like coming up this season in district play that you've known since you were a youngin'?
I definitely look forward to playing Patriot again for the most part because they done beat us twice already, so that's the big thing. Them for sure, and then Freedom's always a good one because I've known them forever, and then those probably the main two ones. Besides that, everybody else, go to other schools outside the private, but yeah, those are the main two. I definitely look forward to.
It's just crazy because I watch you growing up, man, and just I love that about the story that sports brings. You look at the connections between Potomac and Patriot and all the coaches. That Potomac Blue, again, I might do I'm saying this out loud on my show. I might do a speech on that, a series on that, because, so much is talked about the here and now, but when you take a step back, you look at that Potomac Blue, the Potomac legacy of coaches and players, it is deep. Mm-hmm. It is deep. And you talk about all the coaches and the schemes y'all did, the standards y'all set. Are you familiar with that, TJ? Do you a lot of times my good friend, he was on this basketball series. You are? Because my friend, Hampton High coach Eric Brown, one of the things he's dealing with at Hampton High is trying to get guys that are your age to understand what it means to put on that red, black, and white. And so, but you're familiar with what it means to be a Potomac fan.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
And how many coaches have, been throughout the program, whether they are now, There's a lot of
no doubt. Coach Mills, you talk about this upcoming season and the games and how y'all are everybody's Final Four matchup championship, everybody, the crowds and everything like that. I've asked this question to a lot of coaches who jumped on this series I'm doing. How do you keep guys locked in? Because again, the distractions we talked about, but how do you get guys locked in regards to, TJ, I'm gonna challenge you on this, but ignore all this outside noise. Now, obviously, his dad is very humble and supports and reinforces the desired outcomes that you want for your squad. But there are other parents, and you're in the gym too, where a lot of guys are very, a lot of fans are boisterous, and they think they know, and they on Facebook and Twitter saying what you should do. How do you get guys now? I'm always curious about that with social media to understand. Okay, these are our missions, and this is our goal. Let's lock in on this.
I think it starts in practice. For us, the way we go about practice and focusing and making sure that we are challenging, that we are our biggest challenge, by being sharpening iron, meaning that the guys are attacking each other on a daily basis in practice and doing the things the right way. Now that we don't really have to worry about the outside noise. And then they're understanding that you're always going to be the 100. Like, we're paying, for the teams that didn't beat me when I was playing, it could be people still upset. The ones who didn't beat Coach Honore while he was coaching, I could be taking all that fire. So I let the guys know that. I let them know, who's came before and who, it could be a coach, man, I ain't beat Potomac in such and such years. So this is their opportunity. So they're gonna take full advantage of it. As we made the transition year, from Coach Honore to myself. So but I think it starts in practice. You just don't worry about the outside noise. The game have to be played, keeping them focused, through warm-ups and all those different types of things. And then a lot of them now have seen it. Last year was a year for them. They've seen what it's like when you're on the road or it's a home game, or our game at Hayfield, and our game versus Patriot. Those are games that we would love to, come and have a different outcome, but you got to go through that fire. You got to see that fire to understand what it's like when you put on that uniform.
Yeah. TJ, this will be my last question to you, and I really appreciate you both from jumping on as we record this episode. What will people see when they see you play this year? What should they expect? I know it's tough because the season, there's ebbs and flows, and you can't predict, but you have control on your effort, your attitude, and how you approach the game. What will people see when they watch you play and your teammates compete?
Well, for me, they're going to see, of course, me always playing hard, and I feel like this year I've expanded my game a lot more, so I'm out in the wing a lot more. I'm going to be handling the ball a lot, shooting it a lot more for sure. And then just, getting people open. I think that's going to be a big thing for me this year.
I love that.
And then for our team, you're just going to see us playing hard, defense, fast break legs. We're going to be having fun for sure. And everybody
And is there a shot you can't take? Because, y'all shooting threes from half court. You said you're going to be shooting on the wing. Is there Coach Mills looked at you, hey, TJ, or do you have the green light, or is it a green light with the battery running out sometimes? Like, wait. Yeah, do you have free range? Is he going to give you freedom to play your game within the confines of the offense?
Yeah, I like to think I have free range to definitely do.
That's good. That's good. All right, and Coach Mills, man, couple of last questions for you, man. Coaching, as I mentioned, is you always talk about looking and learning, which I wanted to hear, and I like hearing that because we're all a work in progress. You're still trying to figure things out. I know this season tips off as this show will run. You will be playing this week, and when I air this show, when you talk about reflecting, because you're looking forward, obviously, to the season, but when you take a step back, you guys got to work right after the loss in the playoffs and the regional semifinal. What did you learn about yourself as a coach? Because you're always learning. What did you learn about yourself in your first year as a head coach at Potomac?
I learned that I have to be better. For me, I'm never done trying to learn and grow. And then I learned, I need to be able to challenge my team, have them ready. It's one thing to be, playing as a player. Like, I know I would show up and I'm ready to go, but how can I make sure that they're ready for everybody's first shot as soon as that ball is tipped off? And that's what I, really learned. What can we be better at? Rebounding is one thing that we've been spending a lot of time on. Rebounding, defending, pressure in the basketball, communication. So I, just studying. Where can I challenge these guys at? Where can I challenge myself? Everything that I think we've done has been completely different this season. With just a lot of the small details, film breakdown, and individual, like it's a lot that's these guys have really had to deal with since last year to this year. And I'm still growing. I had to get used to being able to block out the crowd, and understanding that they have expectations as well, So I just try to grow in any inch, any way I can, just to make my game, my coaching a lot better. But I think it's really just challenging my guys and having those guys ready to go and understanding the importance of being able to take everybody's best shot, but still being able to fight back at the same time.
No doubt. And with that being said, similar to the question I asked TJ, this season, what should we expect when we watch Potomac play? As far as, style of play, effort, mindset. Like when I watch and I tune in, whether in person or on the app or a live feed, what should I expect to see? And two-parter, and what are the expectations for your season this year as far as team goals? Is it we got to get to the playoffs and we want to make a deep run states? What is that? And what are those two questions in regards to your answers?
The answer to the first one, what you're going to see is the team you're going to see a team that's having fun, defending at a high level, communicating, energy on the bench, excitement from the coaches. I think that's that we're going to see that we didn't really get an opportunity to see for all 4 quarters. I think we played good in spurts, but now I think what people are going to see is what they've been looking for. Guys that, just having fun, man, defending and wreaking havoc on teams, making games difficult as possible, and then just competing for 4 quarters. The expectation stays the same for us. It's districts, region, and obviously state championship. That's always been the goal. That'll never change if I'm here or not. That's going to be the same thing. You're going to hear that in the school. It's state championship, it's the regional championship, obviously it's district championship. So that's the goal for every year. And then I'm sure we're gonna sit down eventually and find out some teams goal before we kick off December 4th. And I know that this group right here is going to be, they're going to be special because it's going to lead into our future as well with those 6 sophomores. So I'm sure, and they've done a great job of being a team. This is like more of a team-led, players-led team. This year they're holding each other accountable. So you're gonna see some excitement, getting up and down, and then I think you're gonna really feel that, okay, that this team is hard-nosed on the defensive end. They're doing all those things that we're used to seeing Potomac do.
Yeah. No, I expect to see it, and I expect to see you guys playing hard, and I definitely have a lot of love and respect for you, Coach, and your program. And TJ, man, continue to stay focused. I appreciate you both for locking some time away to jump on today on the Victory Life Legacy podcast series, previewing the upcoming VHSL high school basketball season, man. Thank you both, man. And to everybody, please, watching this, get out and support this team, especially those on the east side of Prince William County, surrounding areas. Support these young men and coaches, both men's and women's basketball. A lot of great teams, a lot of talent in the DMV, especially here in Prince William County. I'm a big believer in that. And also for those watching, not only support Potomac and these other teams I've interviewed, but also make sure you subscribe to my channel, support the Victory Life movement, and make sure, like I say every episode, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, make sure you leave a positive impact and a great legacy. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. TJ, let me get some shoes. All right. Thank you, guys.